When we go by the 28-day moon cycles, we get exactly 13 months to a year, plus a day out of time. The 13th zodiac sign, Ophiuchus, the snake charmer, comes in between Scorpio and Sagittarius from November 30th till December 17th. The breaker of chains, purifier, the universal divine mother and mother of dragons, bringing healing, unification, and resurrection through the power of cosmic love, aligning to the universal heart of Lyra. Together with Cetus, the 14th sign, Ophiuchus brings rebirth and represents the pending birth of the soul of Christ child growing in the womb of the Divine Mother. Although the new cycle begins with spring equinox in Pisces about March 21st, this is not the new beginning of life yet. It is the time to plant seeds, and for the seeds growing in the womb or egg to gather themselves to become a whole unit, and to gather strength and momentum to prepare for birth, when Aries rams the gate into the beginning of new life open as the first sign of the zodiac wheel. Now the newborn soul of Christ child begins its ascent up Jacob's ladder, the 33 vertebrae of the spine. Ophiuchus and Cetus the whale work together in tandem as a unit. And an extension of the 12 to help birth new life or the soul of Christ child. Cetus is intimately connected with Pisces in the water constellation and is also called the big fish. It only comes in for 2 days of the year. On a galactic scale, with the galactic year being around 25,920 Earth years, Earth is under Cetus influence for a relatively longer time period. On March 27th and 28th, in between Pisces, the 2 fish kissing each other's tail, one swimming downstream into the future and one up into the past, representing the Ouroboros and the beginning and end meeting in a spiral as one. In between the end of a year or the pregnancy cycle and birth is a quiet time of inner reflection when we dive down into our emotions to gather our aspects and remember them. Cetus gathers and alchemizes our memory into fractal coherence through whale song, so we can take it with us as we cross over to the other side into a new dimension. All numbers after 1, all fractaled off aspects of mind and identities are magnetically pulled back to source through the heart. Those aspects, core beliefs, that have been traumatized, their fractal crystal geometries broken, their minds fragmented, do not fit into the harmonic rhythm and geometry, streaming into and cascading through the MEWE vortex, the in-breath, collapsing into one. Fragmented and defractalized, they are not a shareable wave, feeling separate from themselves, their soul, and source. Until they are penetrated by the resounding harmonic frequencies, the love that comes through our own heart, as the harmonic aspects are collapsing into it. This frequency comes from source consciousness that is remembering itself in its furthest out shattered shards. When they refractalize, healing the fragmented, broken crystals, they join in the magnetic mother wave, an integral fractal source wave that folds beyond Planck scale into a tetrahedron. Eventually, this one also dissolves, passing through the 0 point into the void of formlessness, where only pure aware remains, without identity, self, reflection, or memory. Being pushed out on the other side of the now radiating MEWE vortex, the tetrahedron unpacks all its memory again. This is taking memory or soul through death into a different wavelength. Now this whole aspect has been remembered into an expanded higher frequency version of itself and inhabits a bigger wave, array, or stream of consciousness and soul. Vice versa, the higher frequency aspect coming from the other side of the bigger torus merges with the smaller fractal aspect and embodies at denser level. Think babushka dolls nesting in each other. This is how the denser, smaller version remembers itself as the next higher frequency version, and the higher frequency version experiences itself more densely embodied. The simultaneous spiritualization of matter and materialization of spirit, raising the light quotient of the inhabited body. Once we have merged with and embodied the next higher frequency level of our auric field entirely, our physical body will have ascended to that level of bandwidth, wavelength, dimension, and timeline. Whale song broadcasts phi ratio standing waves of 52 Hz, which is fractal heart coherence frequency, producing feelings of love, bliss, and compassion, facilitating telepathy and lucid dreaming, perfectly balancing the brain hemispheres, opening to the central column of light when one can see with the inner eye. 52 is also the code of the heart, 5 spins inside, 7 outside. The heart-mind working together as one in harmony. These are the whiteouts in the Schumann frequency. When the charge collapses into the harmonic cascade of the heart vortex, merging the elements of water and fire in the blood, producing plasma or ether, allowing for conscious access to our DNA. All 3 signs of the triad of Ophiuchus, Cetus, and Pisces are the only signs in the zodiac that belong to both elements of water and ether. With the arrival of Ophiuchus in 2010 and Cetus in 2012, our new galactically aligned zodiac correlates with the Dendera space-time table, representing these two constellations at the center of our zodiac wheel. As birthing helpers into a new Earth, they alchemize everything we've gone through to then catalyze and ignite it into momentum to take our entire symphony of being through the vortex of spiraling time matrices, through the zero-point portal and the quantum field of infinite possibilities. Here we have access to all evolutionary experiences within our DNA required to reach an entire new octave or higher dimension, which will help us heal and feel whole again, ready to embody an expanded version of our Creator consciousness, bridging us individually and collectively into the next density trifecta of the 4th, 5th, and 6th dimension of Tara, Earth, and a new galactic time. The rhythm accelerates when it's going into another rhythm, and the feeling is that time is running out, especially when, like in our case, our matrix has been overlaid with an artificial one, and therefore our system and conditioning is bonded to an artificial sense of time. When the starving time eaters were in hot pursuit on Momo's heels, when she was on her way to Master Hora, the master of time, Momo had to slow down instead of run faster, so that they couldn't catch her to steal her time. Instead of trying to keep up with the accelerating pace, the name of the game is to slow down, simplify, and prioritize matters of the heart. Then we'll slide down the rabbit hole of the central column to the bottom of the sea. Our heart, the nest of our 8 Genesis cells and holy chalice of our soul, from where we can see clearly, with the soul's perspective, and navigate through the eye of the storm. The bridge between Pisces and Cetus is Mira, the miracle, located at the Adam's apple in the throat chakra. Mira also means sea in Spanish or Latin, sign of Pisces, the mirrored seas. Mira, miracle, Mira, see all, the bridge bringing through Cetus, the 2 seas in the heart chalice, the 2 polar opposite hirogamic frequency waves, the golden and the silver spiral weaving through all life forms. The 2 seas, from sea to shining sea, is Isis, is holy polarity of beingness, which is always a trinity. The 3rd wave, the opening, the bridge between the 2, is hidden. Pisces symbolizing the end of one cycle, the beginning of a new cycle, and then the time in between, is also an H. H is the symbol of the Ak. A free soul. And H is also breath. In the still point between the in and the out breath, Yod, the male, Ha, the breath, V, the female, Ha, the breath, masculine, the plus vortice, the feminine minus vortice, merging, collapsing together into the still point of the breath in the 0 point. When these 2 spirals phase conjugate, phase conjugation is a physical transformation of a wave field where the resulting field has a reversed propagation direction but keeps its amplitudes and phases. Phase conjugation of wave field means the inversion of linear and angular momentum of light. When the brain hemispheres are balanced, or when we feel love and compassion, it activates the harmonic cascade into a harmonic rhythm. The portal to the central column opens to our third soul strand of DNA, the Trinity helix, expressed in the trifecta of timelines. The point of singularity, they experience each other as one and neither, because it is the is observer consciousness. It is the seeing without form, no space, no time, pure awareness, the ocean, the source where everything originates from and everything flows back into. The field of infinite potential. The principle of the third central column is the bridge into hyperspace of the hypercube. Like the corridor in the series Dark Matter, a multidimensional probability space where everything is in a quantum state of superposition. And the reality that awaits behind each respective door is quantum entangled with and a frequency resonance of the one opening it. In the time-space between the end of a cycle or an age, with the old order collapsing, and the birth into a new one, or the establishment of a new order, in the space between dimensions, when the time-space matrix is in flux, and order turns into chaos or free flow, in the hyperspace corridor, everyone lives in their own bubble. This doesn't mean that chaos needs to ensue when we carry order within. Everyone's unique frequency mixture of old and new, dialing into the respective pool of multidimensional bandwidths of frequencies and timelines, determines their experience of reality. This allows for people, even in immediate proximity, to have a vastly different experience of the same framework happenings. The two C's, Cetu, C to us, Cetus. We turn the C this way and we have the arc. We turn the C this way and we have the arc. And in between we have the Mira. And this is also the sign of Phi. Mirror, mirror on the wall, the mirror that sees all, and always reflects the truth. In Snow White, Schumann whiteouts, heavenly purifying snow curtain, unbroken crystalline structure, unbent neutral white light, all falseness dissolving in its frequency. Like the Sphinx gate to reach the oracle in the never-ending story, only those with pure intent aligned with their true self could pass. Held notions coming from the conditioned identity program based in the left male brain, disconnected from the left female brain, produce a false sense of self that is separate and without our soul, and hence a base frequency of fear, often referred to as the egoic mind. Such notions open the Sphinx eyes and are incinerated by their gaze. The sense of illusory self dissolves, and only true self remains. Past the gate awaits a mirror that sees all. The egoic mind cannot see itself, for it is an illusion. That can only see an image of self based on false premise, but never the true self. Only when the masculine and feminine hemispheres work together, knowing themselves as one organism that includes the soul, can we see ourselves and the world clearly as it is. Cetus gathers our aspects into the ark, like Jonah into his belly, and delivers us over Mira, the mirror, and, like a bridge over troubled waters, through the bottom of the sea and the eye of the storm, safely to the other side. Cetus turns the tsunami wave into a conscious, self-organizing, standing wave. The waters are troubled because the aspects identified with an illusory self that is separate from soul are afraid of annihilation. They cannot ascend because they lost their fractality, and they are afraid of the healing process because they are afraid of feeling. In the remembering, we feel every single action that was done to us and we have done to ourselves and to others that caused a further sense of divide from source. The two C's. Every curve or wave can also be a straight line. In the masculine arc, feminine, the vessel, also an N, and the V is also a U. Anu. Anuva Hanova, the mother verse. Can you see? Male arc being the electric fire tetrahedron, female arc magnetic water tetrahedron, making up the star tetrahedron, creating the spin in opposite directions. Etymologically, the pictograph of the letter N, or Nu, was the serpent representing life force energy. The N is nobody, the formless seeing, aware, without reflection itself, the mirror in which everything is reflected, where the two are one and they are three, the Anu. When we see as the Holy Trinity, the Anu, we see the miracle of life. Cetus. That's it, folks. That's all, folks. We're done packing the arcs. We're ready to go to the other side. These are also the double doors. One door closes and one door opens. The Zephira of Dath in the Kabbalah tree of life, diving down deep into the abyss of ourselves to remember transcendental consciousness, self-knowledge, and our inner voice, where we find the freedom to express our authentic self. the symbol this way. The trinity of Pisces, Cetus, and Mira also brings us to the so-called stickman or squatter. Plasma physics scientist Dan Winter relays that studies have shown how clairvoyant shamans studying the heart of the sun all saw the same thing, Anu. The ultimate physical atom, the 3 Anu quark. Charge collapse of the human heart, the sun's heart, and the hydrogen atom all look the same, with 5 spins inside and 7 outside, the perfect implosive slipknot. This mutual feedback and feed-through the heart between denser and subtler bodies weaves dimensions together and causes gravity. Like with the oscillation rate of atoms, the faster the slipknot spin within the heart of beings and the inner sun of planets, the more fractality ensues, the less dense or heavy and lighter a space becomes. Plasma physics shows when 9 toroidal donuts nest one above the other, a threshold is reached when a plasma cloud becomes self-organizing and self-aware. Presented in the sacred geometry of the Sri Yantra. This phenomenon is depicted all across the globe in shamanic cave drawings of the stickman, an energy cymatic representation and symbol of the 9, resembling the 2 grail cups, the chalice of the heart chakra, phase conjugating. When the central 9 chakras of the body are fully functioning, a being's plasma body has matured enough to inhabit a star, which enables a soul that came from a higher dimension or different star system to leave the solar system through the stargate and travel back home. We self-implode through the harmonic cascade into the heart chalice, taking all our memory and all our DNA with us, leaving no part of us behind so we don't have to come back to retrieve it. A free soul. Enabling us to remember our soul and be lucid dreamers was the main purpose of the initiations through the 14 temples of the Egyptian mystery schools. Cetus, the 14th galactic zodiac constellation, takes us through these initiations collectively in the ascension process of Earth to Tara. 9. Completion when the octave is full and ready to transition to the next dimension. One becomes self-aware, awakens to the soul, and in the dream. Becoming a conscious creator rather than being helplessly in the throes of the unconscious mind and the pain body, falling victim to lower astral parasitical entities. As we have seen, the 7 Elohim can also be referred to as the 9, as they each represent one of the 9 base elementals that make up the forms of the multiverse. The African Dogon tribe celebrate their origins coming from Sirius B, the double dog star, our galactic parent star, Digitaria, parading the stickman. Joan Ocean was guided to move to Hawaii to communicate with and broadcast the messages of the cetaceans by a group that called itself the 9 of the 12 of the 24 elders from Sirius B. And the dolphins and whales communicated to Joan themselves that they were from Sirius. Darth is also death and corresponds to Pluto, the dwarf planetoid and 9th member of our solar system, standing for death and rebirth. Pluto, the dog of our solar system's family of 8 children or planets. Double digit. Elsa and Richard's family dog.
This is the sound of one heart.
the reincarnated parallel or double family of Akhenaten and Nefertiti.
Sound of faith, stepping out of fear.
With 8 children.
Oh, the journey of one soul.
Double Digit was dying of old age when E3 comet passed Earth and brought the key code. Double Digit, Digitaria, the dying double dog star, Sirius B.
This is the sound of love, reaching out from the storm, calling through the thunder, through the anguished war. And I can feel the winds, feel them begin.
G, the 7th letter of the alphabet. The number 7, same as the letter L in Hebrew, meaning God.
Is shining in everything I do, and I hear you calling for me, for all roads lead, all roads lead, all roads lead to you.
We die to one reality and are reborn to another. Illusions and beliefs based in false premise die to truth. Trauma dies to the healing power of self-love.